So we're back with some more April fishing action. Extremely windy day here. Fishing a 1/4 ounce slipless crankbait. Hooked up with this bass here. Fishing a city park lake here. Water's really clear. Throwing this 1/4 ounce bait in the hopes of catching some big trout also. They weren't really biting there. Moved to an interstate pond along the interstate. Catching some smaller bass here. Still using the 1/4 ounce slipless crankbait. Got a couple really small ones on a square bill. I think I ended up catching 5 bass here, but 2 of them were really small. The other 3 weren't massive, but they were something. You can see there's quite the algae bloom going on along the bank. Just made it interesting to fish. A lot of the lakes around the area are like that right now. Makes it hard to throw a jig or anything because it just gets covered in slimy algae. Just fish back in the pond. So now we're back at the city lake. Switched over to a vicious small square bill crankbait. I actually had caught a nice trout before this and didn't have my camera out. And of course it jumps like 8 times and I kicked myself for not having the camera out yet, but it is what it is, I guess. I get it on for this one, and he only jumped once, and that was right when I hooked it, so I didn't have the camera going yet. So guess you're not going to get to see any of the jumps. Pretty decent trout. Not as big as some of the monsters they've stocked in here in the past, but put up a good fight. Just gonna let this fish go, so I'm not even gonna take it out of the water. Hopefully. Shake this hook loose, and away it goes. So we got a bass on here. And of course we missed the jump. It had a nice jump right before I got the camera on. No monster, but a pretty decent fish. Probably. Let's get the line untangled from the hooks here. You can see the little vicious crankbait that I'm using there. I'll show the lures I used in this video at the end, so if you want to stay tuned to the end, you can see what lures I used in the video. Working this pretty aggressively. Throwing it out, reeling it, and snapping the rod, trying to get it to move a little side to side once in a while. Try and get a reaction bite out of these fish. Sun's getting low in the sky, setting out in the west. It's a different day at a different lake. Back to the local lake I fish a lot. This little guy on a jig, using my bait casting rod here. One of them. I switched back over to a lipless crankbait. Catch this fish on a 1/2 ounce diamond shad by Straight King. Just a little guy. End of the day, using a square bill here. Hooked up with a good fish here. It's a jumper. It actually jumped way out in the middle before I got the camera going. Also, but it's a good one here. You can tell it's getting a lot weedier in the lake. The moss is starting to form around the edge. Getting kind of hard to fish from the bank. Gonna have to start using the John boat here, or the bigger boat. Get a measurement on this one. Comes in at 18 inches. Nice fat healthy female. These full eggs are getting close to wanting to spawn. But we'll let her go. Have some babies. Working that lure pretty violently through the weeds there. Like I said, the lake's getting really weedy, so it's getting hard to throw some of these crankbaits. And I get this fish in close and it hits a wall of weeds and comes off. The sun is setting. It's getting dark. I hooked up with another one. Caught a 13.5 inch crappie after this, but it was so dark you couldn't even see it on the video, so didn't even put it in. So stay tuned for the lures I used in the video, and thanks for watching.